Critica and I'm doing a series on beekeeping and how you can get started. Whether you're an experienced beekeeper who just wants to have a look at what someone else is doing, or you're a beginner who's kind of interested in pursuing this new hobby, or if you're just interested, just pop along and have a watch. So this video is just an introduction to beekeeping, and we're just going to be talking about the equipment that you're going to need, the ideal conditions for beekeeping, and we're actually going to go in the hive and have a look at how everything works and how the hive's structured. Firstly, the weather's really important for the bees. They do like quite a warm weather and with no wind. Wind kind of angers the bees a little bit. And also if it's cold, they want the hive to be as warm as possible. So it's a good practice to not go in the autumn or winter months. We live in a place which doesn't have a lot of wind, which is fortunate. So we can kind of pop in and out whenever you want. The more familiar you are with your bees, the better. I'd like to introduce a helper. So this is my sister. She's going to be helping me film some segments here and there. She's just going to be helping me out in general. So hi. Hi. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the equipment, which comes on this handy trolley. Equipment's essential for beekeeping. It's probably where the bulk of your budget's going to end up going after you spend your money on the bees. We're going to start off with the most important. This is your bee suit, and it's quite a big thing. This is my bee suit that I wear personally, and you can get them in various sizes, but bigger is better because the more folds there are, the harder it is for bees to get through if they want to get through. It comes with its own hood, which is made of like a netting material, and it's quite sturdy, quite sensitive to heat, so I'd be careful when you're using the smoker around it. It comes in a range of costs. Obviously the more pricey it is, the more better quality it is and the more it will last. So do you want to take this? Thank you. Next, gloves. These are really important in my opinion, because you're going to be doing a lot of things with your hands. It's quite dexterous work. They're leather, which is really good, but it's kind of expensive. And they come with a nice cloth here which is sting proof. I don't know. You see a lot of beekeepers, especially on YouTube, that tend to go without gloves. I wouldn't recommend that just because every beehive has its own temperament. These bees can be a little aggressive now and then depending on how you handle them. So always wearing gloves is a good practice. I wouldn't recommend going without gloves at all. Next, these tools. This weird thing that kind of, it's a smoker, and it's got like an air pump here and the head which is removable, and basically what you do, I'm not sure if many people know this, but in order to calm down the bees or make sure they're not swarming around you a bit, is you smoke them. And that doesn't sound very ethical, but it doesn't do a lot of harm to the bees. It depends how you use the smoker. Here's a smoker. You kind of just put in the fuel like this, and you can use a variety of fuel. The drier it is, the better. We've got these fire lighters to help us get started, and you can buy these smoker pellets from your local farm shop, and obviously you need matches. Next, I'm going to show you the hive tool. This is an essential 100% because it's got these grooves and hooks and holes and stuff that allow you to kind of pry open frames, but I'll show this in more detail when we actually go into the hive. They're relatively cheap and you can find them in a variety of different shapes and sizes. This is the most common one, I think. I could be wrong. This is a bee brush. It's got quite soft bristles, and it's so you don't do the bees much harm when you're exiting the hive, because when you exit the hive you'll probably have a few bees here and there, and they might not be aggressive, they might not be trying to sting, but you just want to give them a little brush off. Hi again. We're gonna go into the hive now. As you can see, we're all kitted up. This is my dad. He's gonna help us out with some filming and just help us handle the hive because it is quite heavy. Got our smoker going, so we're all ready to go now. So we just smoke the entrance of the hive.
They all go buzz.
Yeah. That just alerts them, lets them know that we're here. So the top popped off. This is what's the name of this?
Yeah. No idea.
So these are the bees that kind of rest at the top. House bees are quite docile. They don't really do much. So we've got 2 sets of frames. So we've got 2 supers, and that's where the honey's usually kept. Dad's just smoking them a bit more.
This one's pretty empty though.
Yeah. Do you want to show us a frame? This is where you'll mostly harvest the honey. We have 2 of them up here just because we kind of have a big hive. That's what an empty bee frame kind of looks like. You kind of just have a shell. What's going on? Cool. So this is the first super. We're going to just remove it now. Second set of supers. And as you can tell, these ones are actually quite full. These ones are almost ready for harvesting, you could say. So that is all full of honey. These are all capped as well. These are all full. We can actually harvest them next time.
We can. Why not today?
So we're getting into the brood box now, which is where the majority of the hive is. We're in the brood. So this is where the majority of the bees are. You'll find the queen here actually if you look hard enough. We got like some build up here because we actually forgot to add a frame, but this doesn't cause any harm. I want to remove a frame. Eventually I'll get it out. So here you can see there's some build-up. That's mainly honey, but they tend to store brood and larvae in there. So yeah. So we're all back now. You know, we checked the hive, we put it all back together, and you know, we came out with a little gift. This is actually an almost 100% full of honey comb. And we got this from one of our supers. And it's actually the perfect time for harvest because this is when the bees are most productive. So this is going to be our last harvest of the season because they obviously need it to eat in the winter. But this is really good honey, and it's probably wildflower honey. And in a future episode I will show you how to extract this very honey right here. So thank you for watching the first episode. I hope you learned something, but of course leave a like if you enjoyed it, and put any comments of anything you want to see next perhaps, and subscribe if you want to see more. Special thanks to my dad and my sister for helping out. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.